Welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking about some of the themes that I'm seeing for 2025. Some of them are just continuing from 2024. Some of them I think we'll see more of and just even past 2025. This is just a short list. Well, it's kind of long. I'm sure there's more, but I wanted to I already have a lot on here, so maybe there'll be another video in the future. So yeah, I've gotten some downloads throughout the past couple months, and I've just been writing them down, and basically they come out of nowhere, and things just resonate really deeply. So I think they're worthy of saying. So with that, we'll just get started. So one of the big things that I've feel is our disconnection to nature, and I feel us starting to understand the importance of that and how much we've lost that disconnect by having a convenient life. So we're choosing convenience for so long and technology that it's created this disconnect from nature. And because of that, it's actually caused infertility issues, an increase in infertility issues, because we're very disconnected from spirit. We're disconnected from nature, and the souls coming in feel that. So they're also not wanting that. So I think that as we start to come back to that connection and just that appreciation and how to live with nature, things will start to rebalance again. They're not right now, they're out of balance, and it's because we're not in a natural lifestyle. Our natural processes aren't working as best as they can be. So yeah, I just see and I know it's duh, yeah, but yes, more and more we're going to be turning back to traditional ways, and living in harmony with nature, and we're starting to build that spirituality back that we've sort of lost. We've sort of our spirituality changed and became more of a mind thing, where we have the strong belief and all these things, which whatever, but when you actually experience nature and have that relationship with nature, you don't have to believe anything. You just experience it and are it. So that's the coming back to spirituality and your knowingness and your direct connection. It's no longer a third party, I'm connecting to this person to get to God. I am now God, and I am directly connected. So that's also a theme, is increased spirituality. So with that being said, I've seen this, I have this vision of Atlantis being more of importance, because I think we're starting to remember kind of the negative side of technology, because we're starting to remember Atlantis and the negative side of technology that caused some of its destruction, and we're starting to remember that so that we don't repeat that. And so we're kind of in this crossroads where we can choose: do we go down this path that was similar to Atlantis, where we relied and loved technology, we were so excited about it, and we were in a way gave ourselves away to it in hopes of this magical thing that doesn't really exist, it's going to solve all of our issues, technologies, everything's going to be easier, you're going to have no disease, no suffering. So that sort of dream, we can choose now again. Do we kind of fall for that again? That's not truth. That's not that's not necessarily going to solve your issues. What's going to solve your issues is your direct connection. So do we go down this path of technology, or do we kind of back off and reconnect to nature? So maybe we can have both, and I think that's important to balance both. But I do see sort of a split, and I also do see maybe more turning toward nature, because um, it, we're starting to wake up to the fact that technology isn't as cool as we really think it is. I mean, maybe in some serious cases of like disease and um, like issues with our body, yes, like I'm sure there's great technology that will help with disabilities and things like that. But like as far as like, oh, I have this car that hovers, like who cares? Like I just think we're not like buying into it anymore. Like we're just like, whatever. I love digging my hands in the dirt. I don't really care if you have this easy solution. I love what I'm doing here. So yeah, so this like remembrance of Atlantis, that's what I'm seeing. Like almost us waking up to the fact and acknowledging that we actually did live through that, and we remember it, and we don't want to do that again. So I think that will be coming. I think there's going to be an increase of psychic and mediumship development. Everyone's gifts are going to start waking up, and we're going to start noticing the nonverbal communication and the psychic communication that happens all the time that we're just like not aware of and not in tune to. So I think there's going to be more and more just like learning and developing those skills and then teaching others, and we'll kind of live in this harmonious place with those that have crossed over and which are here. And it's so beautiful because when we are able to live in that harmonious place, like it doesn't really feel like people are gone in a way. Like we're able to like grieve less, and we can still have those connections, and there's just, death isn't as scary then. So I think fear, because of that, we're going to be overcoming like just fear in general. When we are in our power and we are attuned to higher frequencies, it's like you can recognize and spot fear in an instant and choose not to buy into it. And I think people more and more are understanding that they have that power and the ability to do that. So it's just overcoming this like just fear in general, the ego that's attached to fear. We're sort of saying like, no, I'm not going to let that rule my life. I'm going to if you will, from yoga, hold the reins on the ego and not let that sort of run what I do. I'm going to live from my heart. I'm going to live from a place of trust and unknown. And fear, there's no place for that. There really isn't. So the more that we're able to connect to just like the spirit world, if you will, and just like this unseen, the more comfortable and fearless we become. So it's very empowering, and it's very exciting. And I think that's like the new excitement, if you will. It's not necessarily like technology and ooh, that cool device and that new phone, like whatever. Like I have the phone that I need. I don't need it to do anything more. What I do need is to connect and talk to my deceased loved ones. So that's I think a theme coming this next year. People are also craving knowledge and truth. So obviously that's been like happening. And so it's this sort of addiction to knowledge that I see becoming like a thing. And it's exciting because it is new, and it's like, whoa, I've never like given this that much thought or attention. But like it can also be like addicting, where we're seeking out like the high of, oh, the conspiracy or whatever, you know? So it's like there is this crave for knowledge, which is great, but there's also like, as you feed yourself knowledge, the ego tends to grow with it. If you start to like feel like you already know everything without needing to know more, the ego sort of suppresses a little bit, and you kind of just live more day to day and truthful to yourself versus like being kind of like pulled around in all these directions and whatever you watch, you're sort of soaking in that energy. So it's like being mindful of what you're reading, what you're watching, and it can be like addictive. It can be, it's exciting. I'm guilty of it too. Like, love me some good podcasts, but it's important to have balance, and it's important to know when like you're starting to get dragged away from yourself, and your values might be changing, and you might be emotionally triggered in some way. I mean, those are like the things you don't want to watch or listen to. All right, so what else? I see, which is exciting, the black sheep in the family is stepping up into the light. So it's like that person that was quiet half their life is now vocal and blossoming into themselves and becoming the leader, because that person for so long has been soaking it all in. It's been trying to figure themselves out. It's been trying to understand themselves, and then they've actually done it. They've done the work half their lives. They haven't spent half their lives dictating and running around and screaming, whatever. They've kind of like been understanding the truth this whole time, tried to speak up, no one listened. Then now it's like, oh, a lot of people are waking up to things and different things, and it's like, oh, okay, maybe you do have something to say. Not only that, but when somebody who is sort of the black sheep and doesn't really fit in, they're already not succumbing to like the negative side of like society, if you will, like the herd. They were never really part of it. They never really bought into this stuff. They don't really have strong beliefs because they're very independent and they know themselves, and they've been developing themselves for half their life. And now they are ready and able to like step into that place when people are losing it or don't know who to look to. It's the black sheep, because they've already known this whole time. They know the direction, they know what needs to happen, and they have like it rooted and grounded in them so much so since birth that now it's like, now it's time to speak up. It's time to there's like a value there that wasn't before. Like people value them and admire them, and there's just such a like there's just such an individual there, right? They're pretty amazing people. So if you're a black sheep, you probably are if you're listening to this, and you probably have things yourself that you need to say, or like ideas that you want to get out there, or passion projects that you want to do, just that are helpful and that the collective needs. Because I think we've been always really tuned into the collective. We've also been very conscious of like not choosing to like go along with things in the collective. So we know the downfalls, we know what needs to be there, and we know where things need to go for just like a more authentic society. Okay. All right. Yeah, so independent makers and small business is literally everything. I've been like feeling this strongly lately. I am a small business owner, and I've just have so much more appreciation for small businesses, just because what I can do in my small business, corporations will never do for you and can't do. The amount of times that I give away something for free, or extend something like a package longer, or allow, just bending the rules. Corporations won't do that for you. They will kick you off. They also are driven by their shareholders or whoever's tied to them, their investors, where they get money from. They are controlled. They have agendas. Small business does not. They are an authentic person who has passion and cares about you. So where you put your money 100% matters. Yes, I don't care. Like, yes, you're supporting someone's career, but eventually they will start their own business. So don't support big business anymore. You support the mom and pop shop. You support the yoga studio that's independently run, and you support clothing. There's independent clothing. There's independent soap makers. There's independent farmers. I have a list if you need them. No longer do you shop at Target. Do you shop at wherever. We're buying local, we're buying handmade, and we're buying into small business full in, because that's what's going to get us through this. It's going to get people out of their dreadful careers. With that being said, we need to be okay with making less money, and I think that's a problem that people have. And I think that's like a problem even in my industry, wellness, where there's this abundance thing that you can have it all, which sure you can, but I do think for the reality and for like the quality and the authenticity, it has to be small. Like if it gets too big, the ego gets involved, money always gets involved, and money I have yet to like meet somebody that like isn't driven. When money starts coming in, it doesn't change them. Like, so I don't know if it can be done, but I do think that it's okay. Like, money isn't everything, so it's okay that we make less. It's okay that you're like spend your time less making money and making things for yourself. So I just think that's what's going to get us through like some of this struggle of like unhappiness and disempowerment, all these issues in society. There's so much competition and this want and desire for money. I don't know. I don't see it as like, I see us, if we focus on the quality and our authentic service and what we're actually doing and why, and our values and all those things, like money will come in, but it doesn't have to be like this enormous thing. Like, it's not. And it's okay. It's okay. What you're doing is so important, and like people love that. People appreciate it. I would love for us all to be valued the same. I don't know if that's real or not, realistic or not. All I know is that like we need more independent makers and small business. And if you have the choice to buy something, small business is everything. So I just think that's going to be more and more and more small business, and it's a good thing. It's a great thing because people are happier. All right, so and that leads us to another thing: disempowered families. So I think we've seen this independent artist type movement, maker movement, but I think it's going to start coming into like the family structure. So I see a lot of disempowered families where they're not exactly sure, like they're not exactly happy with like the whole family structure that we've been sold. And I see a lot of people breaking free from that, which is amazing. Like, in your own way, however that is. Maybe you decide to stay home and not work as a mother, or maybe you decide to, step away and make less money, work part-time, or open your own sourdough business, whatever it is. Like, those are all needed and amazing things that like we need more and more sourdough. I mean, that's amazing. So I just feel like this reinvigoration within family, is like, why are we doing this? Like, how can I get out of this? Or, what makes me happy? And I hope for families that they can find like a little bit more ease in their life, less like having to compete, having the best kid, the best school, all those things. Like, maybe they're homeschooling more, it's just like finding that balance again where they feel empowered and feel like they have like a quality. They're having like a higher quality to their life. I think it's all about quality this next year. And how can we have the most quality? It's us. We're the ones that have to do it. If we rely on companies, they're not going to do it for us. So, let's see. There's more. Okay. So all right. So the mastering manifestation, we are coming to the realization that we have the power we always have, but we're learning how to manifest and really create the reality we want. And we're starting to become our own creators, which we always were, but we're just like waking up to realizing that we are, and the power of the collective. So the collective is, it's like if everyone agrees and believes and visualizes this way, majority, it's gonna be that way. It's so hard. If there's like two people over here, they're like, no, the sky's green. Everyone over here is like, no, the sky's blue, and it's much bigger. People, the sky is gonna be blue. But if we all start to be more aware of how we are consciously creating this whole entire time, this whole universe, we can then like collectively like do good, do more good. We stay focused on the good, and like not getting triggered by the news or like, these catastrophes, which are horrible. We're able to hold the pain in the space and not get distracted by it and react in a way of in fear, because fear is what this whole time society has relied on to have power. And no longer do we necessarily need like a hierarchy structure or power structure. If we're coming into our own power, like the collective power is the power. So we as a society need to come together. And if we're watching news that divides us, and I'm talking about conservative and liberal news that kind of pins things on the other person and like deflects and just is emotional, it's gonna trigger us and make us emotional and keep us in this polarizing situation in duality. So if we rise above it, we recognize that it's fear, we recognize that we're not going to listen to it, or we're not going to buy into that story, we can hold space for unity and like collectively create. So I think there's more and more like leaders stepping up, which is amazing, and holding space for like collective meditations and visualizations, like for peace or for rain, whatever it is. And we'll see more and more of that, and it'll just be us waking up to our own abilities in 2025. So that's a lot. I don't have a lot of negative to say. However, I'm like kind of biased in that sense. Like I kind of always see the good. That's not to say that 2025 is going to be difficult for some. I think a lot of us already experienced the difficulty though in the past few years. So even though even though on the outside it appears difficult, like we've already had fires and people have lost homes and stuff, but I think our spirits won't be damaged like they have in the past. We'll be able to like hold our peace and hold ourselves together and not let the emotion of revenge or anger, fear really take over. So I'm hopeful for this year that regardless of what happens, that's crazy in politics, in the aliens or whatever, we're able to like hold our space and just be almost unbothered by it. So if we collectively focus on each other, hold each other up, support one another, support small business, get our own little communities going. You guys are crazy. Go off, do whatever you want, fighting with each other. We're not going to fight anymore. We're not going to sign up to fight anymore. We're just not doing it. So much love to everybody, and I hope this resonates with you. If it doesn't, then forget it. Be happy to hear your thoughts, and I'm wishing everyone a wonderful year. See you next time.